Buying a home can be so much work and seem so far-fetched that sometimes you're not sure if you want to even do it in the first place. I remember when I was trying to buy my first home, there were so much things that I did not know. And if I had some more information, I would have saved a lot of time, a lot of money, and even some headache in the process. I want to give you a few tips that at least I found useful and what I've learned over the process to hopefully help you accomplish your home ownership dreams and goals this year for 2023. Information is key. One of the biggest things for me when I was trying to buy my home was I had no idea how to get started. All I knew was that I wanted a house and I knew how to scroll through Zillow. I didn't know anything about interest rates or getting pre-approved. I just knew that I wanted a house. I knew I needed an agent, but I didn't know how to find this agent. And then the agent told me I needed to get pre-approved, but I didn't know how to find a lender. And I also didn't know what documents I would need to get pre-approved. It all just seemed so overwhelming from the start when I said I wanted to buy a house that sometimes you're like, you know what, I'm not sure if I even want to bother. The beginning can just be so overwhelming that at some point you'd be like, I don't even want to bother because I didn't get started yet and there's already all these hurdles coming at me. And it's not just finding the team, like such as your real estate agent, your attorney, inspector, or your lender, but I also believed at the time that you needed a ton of money to purchase this house. I always thought you have to put down 20% in order to get this property. And I believed it was only reserved for the elite. Like they knew somebody that I didn't know, or they got a deal, the house was passed down to them from their family members. I always believed that there was something that they had that I didn't, and that's the reason they were able to get this house. But what I've learned is there's only one thing that they had that I didn't, and that was information. Well, money too, because I didn't have either. But the main thing was information. We'll discuss the money part later, but if you have the information, it's almost like a guide to help you get where you need to go and know what to expect during the process. The information is what I really needed. Did you know you could buy a house with no down payment and no closing costs? I didn't. And when I found out and I got this piece of information, it changed everything for me. The program I used to purchase my first house was a program called NACA, and I didn't have any down payment or closing costs. Not only did I not have any out-of-pocket costs, I actually got a check back at the closing for $3,000. Imagine going to buy a house and you leave with money. It was mind blown, but it's because I didn't have the information, so it was just that fascinating to me. But it's something that people do every single day. And there are programs like that all around the country, including in your area. The program that I use is nationwide, but there are other programs similar to it, even in your area, that you can use as well to help you purchase a home. If you did a simple Google search on first-time home buyer programs and typed in whatever county you're in, a ton of options may pop up to help you purchase a home. And this is one of the first steps to securing the home that you want, is knowing what options are available to you in your area. This is also why I wrote an ebook on buying your first home. And this is not an ad for the ebook, but I just realized there were so many people that had no idea on how to buy a home and knowing that it was a feasible thing for them to do. So I try my best to just dump everything in my mind and put it in an ebook, a step-by-step guide, whether that's searching for a property, building your team, analyzing a property, what to expect during inspection, what to expect during closing, anything you could think of. I just try to put in an ebook because I realize there's so many people that have no idea what the process looks like. And if this makes it easier for them, then hopefully that could save them some time, money, and some headache. Financing over everything. All right, let's talk financing because I'm sure that's what a lot of people want to hear about right now. If you can't afford to buy the house, then nothing else really matters. So it's either you have the money to buy the house or someone's going to give you the money to buy the house, aka a loan. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how organized you are, where you want to buy the house, or what type of property you want to buy, you need the money to buy this house. As I mentioned before, the program that I use allowed me to purchase a property without any down payment or closing costs, and it's not because I just wanted to use that program, it's because that was one of the main options available to me at that time. I knew I would have to use a program like that because I didn't have the down payment required to purchase a property in New York. So I researched what options were available to me, and then I just went out and got pre-approved. So whether you use a program that I use or something similar, I would suggest working backwards after you find a list of programs based on your credit score, how much money you have saved up, and how quickly you're looking to buy. When it comes to financing, the more money you have, the easier things tend to be for some reason, but not everyone could afford that 20% down, and I know I couldn't. But fortunately, there's a lot more options out there that besides the 20%. There's 10% down, 5% down, 3.5% down, and sometimes 0% down. At minimum, whichever option you choose, there's going to be a few documents that you'll need to help you get the loan for the house that you want, such as a valid state ID, your last 30 days of pay stubs, your last 3 months of bank statements, your last 2 years of tax returns, and your last 2 years of W-2s. Depending on the lender, there may be more or less required from you, but generally speaking, that's the baseline of documents that the lender is going to ask you for to help give you the loan that you need. Also be aware that each program is going to have pros and cons in exchange for this money that they're loaning you to buy the house. The more money you put down tends to be the less restrictions you have. So if you're using a first-time homebuyer program where it's very minimum down, you may have to look out for things such as how long they want you to live in a home, the type of interest rate they're going to give you, maybe it has private mortgage insurance. There's a whole bunch of things that you're going to have to deal with in exchange for them giving you this amount of money up front. So you want to match up with the program that best fits your needs. So if you're low on funds, but there's a program that says, hey, we'll give you the down payment and closing costs, but you have to live there for 5 years, maybe see if that's something that you're willing to do. If you have a long-term plan and you don't plan on moving for the next 10, 15 years, then that may be a fair exchange for you and the program that's giving you the down payment or closing costs. The main thing I can say is go with the program that best fits your needs. And my advice for financing is get in where you fit in. If you don't have the money, then your options are going to be a little bit more limited than the average buyer, but it doesn't mean that you can't buy a house. I just want you to be aware of some of the stipulations that come along with some of these programs. Remove the emotion. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but know what you want to buy and know why. This is probably one of the most important things, because if you don't know what you want, you won't know what it is when you see it, if that makes sense. So if you don't have an idea, a clear picture of the type of house you want, you'll be searching blindly and you'll never know when you come across it. Yeah, you want an investment property, but how many units? 2, 3, 4? Does it have a driveway? Does it have a basement? Does it have a large garage? Does it have on-street parking? How many bedrooms? In what county? All of these things are important so that when you see it, you'll be able to identify it and know, yeah, that's the house I want. Getting real specific with what you want will help you make less of an emotional decision. And making an emotional decision for such a big purchase could put you in a bad financial position. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that you can afford the monthly payment and that the house serves the purpose that it was intended to, whether that's for your primary residence or whether it was for an investment property. I really hope this information helps someone out there get a step closer to buying their home or just knowing that it's possible. And if there's anything that you would like to know that I did not cover, just leave it in a comment below and I'll try to answer as best as I can.